everyone, and thank you for joining me for another Sims 4 speed video where I am back in Willow Creek renovating the neighborhood, and today I'm doing the Pancakes house, and yeah, it's just part of my ongoing I don't know, personal desire to renovate this neighborhood. I am kind of playing in it as well, and I'm just wanting to renovate the houses more or less as I go through the families, but the goal is to, for sharing on YouTube anyway, the goal is to renovate this entire neighborhood. And yeah, so I'm at the Pancakes house today, and it is a base game only build. I just feel like, the Pancakes are one of the most famous families from, famous townies from the base game. So I feel like a base game renovation would be totally appropriate for them. In terms of the style of the house that I'm doing, so one of the things that I'm trying to do throughout Willow Creek is really give it a more New Orleans kind of southern USA feeling or vibe, and so I wanted to do that with their house. You can see me working on the exterior right now. I will tell you right now that it does change. I do settle on an exterior before I move on to the interior, but there was nothing wrong with it, but it just looked more like a typical American house rather than a house that was specifically from New Orleans. So I do revisit it towards the end. It's mostly, like you would have seen in the panning shot at the start, that it ends up with a flat roof and all that, but yeah, this is kind of just to show you the process and the journey that I took when renovating this house. I did try renovating this, I don't know, like maybe a month ago, and I kind of settled on it, and I think the issue that I was encountering and why I didn't end up liking it and starting again was that I was trying too hard to maintain the original look of the house. And while I do that with my renovation, it still, keeps pretty much the floor plan almost stays entirely the same. The exterior doesn't change much apart from the roof and stuff, but even with the color scheme, and I tried to maintain the color scheme that was going on with the exterior, but in the end I just felt like it looked way too busy, and by that time I had kind of, with the Max's style, even though there is a distinct New Orleans style in Willow Creek, I feel like that wasn't really carried over to this house or most of the houses in this neighborhood. There's maybe the shotgun house next door, and then there's the I can't remember what that one's called, maybe Rental Rose, which I have also renovated. I haven't shared that yet because I'm going to have another crack at it. But yeah, I was kind of renovating these houses, not really thinking about a certain style or theme that I was going for. I was just kind of jumping in and renovating them however I wanted. But now I want to do a more distinct New Orleans style of renovations for the entirety of Willow Creek. And I've done that more or less with the community lots that I've renovated and the rental units that I built, but not so much with the houses that I've kind of renovated off camera. And I'm glad I haven't shared those yet, because I was getting ready to share them, but then I looked at the Pancakes house and then I was just like, you know what, I don't like this renovation. It's too busy and it doesn't quite fit with the New Orleans theme that I'm really going for. And so I even had that in mind when I put this kind of the exterior together, and still I wasn't quite satisfied with it looking New Orleans enough. So I did come back and change it in the end. I can talk about the exterior, what I've done here. So I did want to give them a pool, and I believe Bob is active, and he's a foodie. Let me check his traits real quick. Okay, so he isn't active, but he is in my game. He's not active, he likes fitness, and I do keep his, I know he has a weights machine in his room, and I do keep that, so I take it he has some sort of interest in fitness, and so I gave him a swimming pool. Now there is a bit of a story behind the renovation. The Pancakes do have a bit of an odd relationship. It seems like they don't really have the most wholesome marriage. And just a forewarning as well, like I have renovated this house with Iggy in mind, so there is a bedroom for Iggy. I do play with the Pancakes family from the gallery, the Maxis version on the gallery where they have their child Iggy, so this house is renovated with that in mind. So they have an odd relationship, and their house kind of reflects that. So Bob and Eliza clearly have their own separate bedrooms. They don't sleep in the same room. Eliza has her own bathroom, and essentially, I mean, if you don't play with Iggy, Bob has his own bathroom as well, but in this house, he shares a bathroom with Iggy, and Eliza has her own personal bathroom still. I really wanted to play up this kind of situation where Eliza seems like she has control over the household. So she is the matriarch, and she calls the shots in the household. But there are some hints here and there where you can see, there's been some kind of dispute around, furniture, and particularly with the swimming pool. They have a very big backyard, and it's very lush. Even in the vanilla version of the house, there's some pretty decent landscaping, and the house is really tidy, and it's also very classical. And so when I put the pool in, I was thinking, would Eliza want this big ugly pool? Because I did try to make the pool a bit unflattering and a bit cheap looking. And I figured, is this something that Eliza would like? I would figure no, but the pool has been installed because Eliza and Bob got into an argument, and she caved in a little bit and let him build the pool, as long as she could maintain, her beautiful garden and whatever. And I mean, for the most part, I feel like Eliza does call the shots. Sometimes she does relent and let Bob get his way. Another example of that is with the living room, and kind of other places throughout the house as well, but especially with the living room. They have a mix of kind of classical furniture but with some modern furniture as well. So you can see it's decorated quite classically in terms of the wallpaper and some of the TV cabinet, for example. But then they've got these modern couches and modern chairs and these modern lamps. And I was thinking, well, really the only way to explain that is that, Eliza likes a really, classic decor. She likes antiques and all that kind of old-fashioned stuff, but Bob prefers a more modern style of decorating, and so they've gotten into a few arguments, especially over the lounge suite. So Eliza wanted to go for a more classical looking lounge suite, but she got into an argument with Bob, and she eventually relented. He was able to convince her to let them have a more modern lounge suite. So they've just got these modern couches amongst all this kind of classical furniture. So even though it's a bit quirky in the vanilla game, it doesn't really make sense. Like, these two furniture styles don't really go together. I tried to make some lore behind it to explain why that might be. So yeah, you can see with the living room I've started putting together anyway. I kept their couches. I do get rid of the lamps in the end though, because the lamps just, even though they are modern, they're not nice lamps. They're so ugly. So I got rid of them. But the couches stay, and these chairs in this little closed off kind of reading space also stay. Now, in terms of the color scheme for the house, so I do like the color scheme that already exists in the living room. I feel like that's quite nice. I just brought some more blue into it. So I keep that, and I carry that over more or less throughout the rest of the house, except the dining and the kitchen space. The dining space, the walls, and the floors stay the same throughout the whole house, with the exception of like the kitchen and the bathrooms. I think I changed those up, but the dining room wallpaper and floor stays the same, but I kind of carry that over into the kitchen as well. But yeah, overall I did want this house to be renovated but also kind of familiar. So yeah, I guess that's my kind of preference with the renovations, especially with the houses that already have families living in them. Like, I don't really want to overhaul their houses too much, probably with the exception the Spencer Kim Lewis house that I just renovated. Even though I did like a complete Art Deco overhaul of that house, one of the things that I did want to maintain was the kind of the colorful vibe, colorful quirky vibe that they have in their original house. So I wanted to maintain that one. So decorating with the base game only is a bit difficult because I am quite limited in what I can choose, but I feel like I pulled it together, especially because this house is, I feel like, the right size for a base game only house. If it was any bigger, then I would really struggle to decorate it without being overly repetitive. So yeah, but I mean, in terms of my decorating, I've kind of kept that the same, so it's relatively simple. As I've said before, I don't like to make my builds too cluttered. One thing that I also haven't said is that I don't like to renovate them with the career rewards. Like, I play my households as well as renovate them. So I play and I build. And I just feel like it's a bit cheaty if I give them career rewards. So I tend to steer away from that because yeah, like I do. When it comes to the career rewards, I want my Sims to actually be able to earn them. So yeah, I don't put those in. I might put them in community lots from time to time because no one really owns those lots. So it kind of makes it seems okay for them to be used on community lots. But when they're on residential lots, especially a residential lot that is lived in, then I won't use career rewards. So yeah, continuing on with what I'm doing. So I've done the dining room, and yeah, you can see that I pretty much kept the color scheme the same. I've come into the kitchen and I've just changed up the walls, and they kind of complement the dining room color scheme. In the original build renovation that I did that I didn't end up liking and scrapped, oh my gosh, the kitchen was absolutely terrible. And I think that's partly what made me decide to redo this house, because I looked at the kitchen, I was just like, this kitchen is tiny and it's fugly. I'm not going to show you what it looks like, but it was a lot smaller than this. I don't know why I shrunk it down so much, but I kept their big grand kitchen because Bob is actually a foodie, and so it only makes sense for him to have a pretty, grand kitchen here. So, and it's all very classical with a couple of, like, they've got their modern, like super modern fridge amongst all their classical kitchen fittings and all that. So yeah, just another one of those quirks of this family where I've got some classical furniture mixed in with some super modern stuff. I was playing around with the island counter here a bit to see whether I wanted like a horseshoe shaped kitchen or if I just wanted like an island counter, but I stuck with the island counter. Initially I did use the wrong I wasn't using an island counter, the island counter to make an island counter. I was using just the regular wall counters, and then I was like, why does this look so funny? And then it took me a little while to realize that I was using the wrong counter. So here I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. A bit of base game cluttering this is fine. I would have preferred to have done a bit more clutter, but I feel like this is okay. I feel like, it is quite a big kitchen, so it could have done with a bit more clutter, but I used more or less as much clutter as I could see useful in the base game catalog. Now, if you have noticed my voice by now, then you would notice that I do sound a bit off, and that's because I've actually been sick this week, pretty much since Saturday. I woke up, what's today? It's Thursday. I woke up on Saturday morning with a bit of a sore throat, and I was like, oh, for crying out loud, now I'm getting sick. And I was kind of really hoping that it wasn't turning into anything, but by Monday it had turned into a full-blown cold. So I've been sick with a cold this week. So this video is out a bit later than usual. I sounded a lot worse yesterday. I was talking to a colleague over the phone yesterday, and he said I sounded like a pack-a-day smoker. So I don't feel like I sound like that today. I feel like my voice is a bit better. But yeah, I am definitely on the mend now. and ready to crack on with things, including getting some speed videos out. I have a Sims 3 speed video ready to edit, at least. I've done the build for it, but yeah, it just needs to be edited and uploaded. So I'll be doing that over the next couple of days. So here you can see I've done Eliza's room. So I did adjust it quite a bit, and she does keep her ensuite bathroom. But she also has a walk-in wardrobe, and she has her own fireplace in her bedroom. So I wanted this room to be fully decked out, luxurious. Because Eliza calls the shots, she gets all the nice fancy stuff in her room. She's kind of like the Brandy Broke of Willow Creek, really, where, I mean, they're not like a broke family, but how Eliza has all the really nice furnishings in her bedroom while the rest of her family lives in squalor. So that's just kind of how I was imagining it. But yeah, I mean, I was happy to be able to do this and kind of keep that quirk, where they have their own separate bedrooms, separate bathrooms. In terms of the separate balconies, I didn't go with that in the end because I feel like the front of the house looks funny when there's two doors that just go onto the balcony, just like facing the front of the house, because the doors don't line up with the windows. I tried to find a door that lined up with the windows and looked nice, but I couldn't find it, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take those doors off and put them on the side of that kind of that middle dormer, so that they're a bit more hidden away. But yeah, anyway, just doing some final details for Eliza's room. So just a little bit of clutter. While I don't do a heap of clutter in my builds, I did want to keep this one tidy because I believe Eliza's neat. So yeah, I just wanted to keep it tidy. Except for Bob's room, I did put a little bit of mess in his room because he is a slob. So that only made sense. Now moving on to the bathroom, I guess this will be Bob and Iggy's bathroom. This does not stay at all. At the same time that I decided to revisit the exterior of the house, you'll see that more towards the end of the video, I also redid the placement of Iggy's room and the shared bathroom that he has with Bob. I did that because, I mean, like, if going along with the story where Eliza has the most, fancy stuff, she's got a nice ensuite bathroom, everything's like super decked out. It didn't really make sense for Bob and Iggy to have this ginormous, impractically big bathroom. So, I mean, even though my initial renovation of it was cheap, like I went with all the cheap kind of appliances and stuff, I was just like, I need to go push this dynamic a bit further and move Iggy's bedroom. Like you'll see where I place Iggy's bedroom, and that didn't even make sense to begin with, so I'm glad I changed it. But it only made sense for me to move Iggy's initial bedroom to where the bathroom is at the moment, and then create this tiny shoebox bathroom for both Iggy and Bob. So you'll see that in a moment, but now I am doing Bob's bedroom. I kept a lot of his furniture and, the color schemes the same. So blue and brown, and his decorations that he already had in his room, I kept pretty much all of those. So the posters on the wall, the pictures, his soccer ball lamp, and I just added some mess. I mean, there isn't much mess you can really add with base game, but I did add some mess. So I cluttered up his side tables a little bit. Added a movie poster. I thought about adding the movie poster of him, but I thought that was a little too meta, so I changed it up. And so here is Iggy's bedroom, and this year just the placement didn't make sense to me, so I'm glad I changed it, because it's the only room that has private access to the balcony, or soon to be balconies, and it just didn't make sense for Iggy to have to be the one who has private access to the balcony. If anything, it should be Eliza, and I wasn't able to give Eliza private access to the balcony because it just made the front of the house look funny. So I've glossed over me decorating his room there, but you will see me put together his second room. So what I do is I just end up moving all of this stuff over to where the bathroom is now, and changing, like just extending the hallway out into this part, creating a shoebox bathroom. And yeah, but you can see I kind of gave them this blue and orange dinosaur themed room, which I thought was quite cute. All the base game toys put to use there. And then I'm coming out to the balcony and decorating that. I love these potted plants. They're just so nice. I reckon easily the best looking base game plant. This one, and there's another plant that I use a lot from the base game that I think is just like, it's really cool. It's just a nice simple looking plant. Coming and doing the rear balcony here. You know what? I should have actually put a telescope. I was thinking, because I took away a lot of their skill building objects and I put them back. So I put back their easel, the woodworking station, and the chess table. But I feel like that would be a good space for a telescope now that I think about it. I'm just mindful of what I put on balconies and stuff, because I feel like it can make the houses look too busy and cluttered. And if the family is kind of this nice, this tidy, someone like Eliza likes this house. I can't imagine that she would want her balconies, especially the front balconies where people walk past. I can't imagine she'd want them having too much crap on them. So in general, I like to keep the balconies tidy because it makes the houses look better. But yeah, so you can see I've started to revisit the exterior of the house, and so I've brought back their kind of their porch that went all the way to the left side of the house, and I brought back their second balcony that's outside Bob's bedroom, and I took away the roof, so I gave it a flat roof, and that's quite typical of New Orleans houses, as a lot of the houses do have flat roofs. I will do some houses with gabled roofs and hip roofs, but I feel like this one just looked nice with a flat roof, especially with the weird dormer at the front. Like it's a very unusual feature of this house. And I was looking through New Orleans houses, like just trying to see, where did the Sims team get inspiration for this house? Like this one floating dormer at the front of the house, and I couldn't quite find anything. But yeah. So now you can see I'm redoing the bathroom. So this is Bob and Iggy's bathroom. It's a 2x3 bathroom. So very, very small, very cramped, but it has everything they need. I do come in a little bit later. Actually, I don't think you'll see in the panning shots of the tour of the house that I do put in a potty chair for Iggy, because I think I forgot to do that in this initial build. But now I'm moving all Iggy's stuff into this main bedroom here. So Iggy actually he's one step above his father, and he has a walk-in closet. So, I mean, that's nice and luxurious for him. But I'm just bringing all this stuff in here and rearranging it. But everything stays the same. Like, he still has his dinosaur-themed bedroom. I do change the color of the curtains, though. I think I went for an orange in the initial bedroom, but I did change it to blue. And you'll see, you'll see me put in the orange curtains, and then I actually come back and change the windows on the exterior, just because I did change the wall height of the second story. It was initially the lowest wall height, but it looks better with the mid wall height, so I changed the window sizes for some of the rooms on the second story, and I thought about giving it this grand cornice here, but frieze, but and keeping in mind that this is more of like a middle class section of Willow Creek, it's not like the upper class or rich fancy area, not in my opinion anyway. So I felt like this frieze was a little too over the top, so they just get the minimal frieze. I'm just kind of seeing how it looks. I do like it, but yeah, it just looked a little too ornate for this house in this neighborhood. Just playing around with the rooftop. I'm just thinking, am I finished? I don't think I'm finished with Iggy's room. I think I just got a bit distracted and came back outside. So just waiting to see where we're going next. Oh, here I am just decorating the other balcony. I just had to go check the footage that I've spoken over, because I was certain that I have more footage of Iggy's bedroom, and I do, but it's coming up after this, so it's just a bit out of order. But yeah, so working on the porch here, so I gave them a chess table back. I'm actually glad that I did give them their balconies and their porch back, because when I was going through and looking through their house, I realized that I'd taken away a lot of their skill building items, and I just had nowhere to put them. I did put some of them out on the back porch, but the chest table, I quite like that on the front porch, so I was glad to be that I was able to bring that back. Now I'm just decorating the extended part of their hallway. I do a little bit more decorating off camera, and you'll see that in the previews, the panning shots, but that's kind of what I did to make use of the extra space there. And then I've given them their woodworking table back, so just a few skill building objects there, or a couple there on the back porch. Playing around with light placement at the moment, and then I'm heading back into Iggy's room because I changed the wall height. Actually, a couple of things happened when I changed the wall height. So the curtains came off, so you can see I've put them back on and changed them to blue. The curtains disappeared, and there were a few items downstairs, like bits of clutter that disappeared. So because I noticed when I was going through and taking the panning shots for the house tour, that some of the objects that I placed were missing, so yeah, I had to go and place those again. And then just with Iggy's closet here, I just gave him some baby care items, but of course that can be filled out a little bit more when he ages up to a child. Now I'm filling in the chimneys, because I do like realistic chimneys in my builds. And yeah, we are gonna start heading into the panning shots of the house. So this is kind of an alternate to screenshots, and I actually much prefer this over screenshots, because sometimes it can be hard to take screenshots of a build and get all the right angles in, and not have the picture distorted when you have to zoom in and zoom out too much. So this is better, and I just think it looks nicer. Now I haven't said before, but I don't usually do before and after pictures. I feel like these builds are so old, they've been around for 10 years now. Everyone knows what they look like, especially on the inside and the outside. It's very hard to do before and after shots, especially like this. So I'm not going to do them for the interior renovations, but I do have a couple for the exterior. So yeah, I'm going to leave you to enjoy those and say all the rest of these clips, and I'm going to say thanks so much for watching. It's been a pleasure to bring this to you. I hope you enjoyed it. This is available on the gallery to download. My gallery ID is minnosimu_NZ. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I will talk to you later.